Alright guys, we're back with Lonnie's mom. Alright, so today we're doing breastfeeding. And so let's just go ahead and jump into it. So when Lonnie was first born, they probably waited maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And they put her on my chest and they were like, go ahead, try to breastfeed her. So I did, and she latched just like that. I had no issues, period. Keep in mind, I will say my entire pregnancy, I talked to my child, and I'm sure everybody do, but I made sure I talked to her. I told her our plan was, for a excellent, smooth pregnancy. We were going to breastfeed, and I even told her down to the weekend that it was okay for her to come. And she actually did come that weekend. That was so amazing. I had a couple of things I need to finish up, and I told her, I said, okay, Lonnie, I'm done. Mommy's ready for you. And she came that Saturday. So back to breastfeeding. But once I brought her home, she was eating about every 3 to 4 hours. I did make sure I watched YouTube videos. I read a couple of things, a couple of articles to learn about breastfeeding and to educate myself on the latching. And so it did help because I had no issues. So I would definitely recommend that. There's plenty on YouTube. Watch a variety because everybody's experience is a little bit different. I will say that this is the part I did miss, however, was the part that in the beginning of breastfeeding, your nipples hurt. I mean bad. I felt like every time she ate, it felt like she was pulling scabs off of my nipples. I was ready to quit. I was like, this is awful. But how long is this supposed to last? I'm using the nipple creams, trying those. They did work. I had to call some friends, so I recommend have some support. Call some friends that have breastfed and make sure they're friends that breastfed. But I was like, oh my God, I was like, they hurt so bad. I was like, is this normal? She was like, absolutely. And it'll leave in about 2 to 3 weeks. I said, oh my God. So every time that Lonnie would get up, I literally would be like, oh, Jesus, oh my God. And, oh, just remembering that. But the good news is that it does leave. It definitely do. Doesn't feel like in the beginning, because I was like, I quit. I'm going to get some formula. So, I also had my husband for support as well. And so I had told him plenty of times too as well, I quit. Go get the formula. He was like, hold on. He was supportive, very supportive, because needless to say, between him and my friend, I kept it going. So support is very important. So the same week that I got home, I started to pump. We took Lonnie to the doctor, her regular pediatrician, the first week she got home. And so she asked me, she was like, are you pumping? I was like, well, the hospital told me wait to maybe 2 or 3 weeks till my milk is established and everything. She said, honey, go ahead and pump now. So I said, cool, right on. And I did. So I started pumping, and it started off with just like so little, like this much in the bottle. I was like, is this how it's supposed to be? This all she drinking? Am I doing it right? So I would at least pump for about 10 minutes. I would pump the same amount of time for the most part in the beginning, the same amount of time that she would be feeding. So, but that was about 10 minutes. So, we get there. Lonnie's mom is tired. Okay, so, moving on, I did order a strap to hold the pump on. both of my breasts at the same time. That way my hands were free. And so I will put that link below for this video because I ordered it off Amazon, and it will work with any pump. It was excellent. However, it is important to remember that when you are breastfeeding, you have to be relaxed. If your body's not relaxed, the milk is not going to come out like it normally would. You have to be in a relaxing setting, and really, I pretty much had to just be still and just, you know, let the pumping go on and let the milk come out. And then and that was about 10 minutes. And that way you can do both at the same time, and you don't have to hold one here, hold the other one here for another 10 minutes. So it worked out perfect. I'll put the link below. So, so as far as the pumping now, so the doctor had told me to feed her and then pump after she fed. And the purpose of that is to get the leftover milk and then to make the breast think that she's eating more than what she is, so you can produce more. Supply and demand. I did that. Worked out perfect. I did have some leaking. Here, I would probably say more so in the beginning, leaking of the milk. And so I always wore a bra. I even wore a bra to bed because they just hurt to be loose. They were so full, and then they started leaking. So I started off buying a disposable cotton pads that you can purchase. But then I actually bought the washable ones from Target, but they're actually on Amazon, in which I can link that below, because I would definitely recommend those, because you can use those over and over and you can wash them, and it comes, I think, with at least 4 in a pack. So you have a change in set. So those were perfect. I prefer those. Let's see. For the bra now, as far as my milk supply, I wanted to make sure that she was definitely getting enough to eat and that my supply was meeting her demand. Ultimately, the baby is the boss of the titties. She tells the titty everything. She tells it what to do, how much milk. She regulates that milk. So I made sure I drank the mother's tea, in which I will link that below as well. That worked for me. I tried the fenugreek. I didn't really like that. This might sound really, really crazy, but there is like different pockets of where the milk comes into the breast. And the mother's milk, I felt like that tea, it just kept my milk flowing good. The fenugreek, for me, I felt like made me start having hot flashes, and it would put milk in like pockets that unless she fed from that titty, it wasn't going to release the milk, and that hurts. So I didn't really care for the fenugreek. Some people love it and it works very well. Just, you know, trial and error. This baby thing definitely did not come with a book set for your personal needs. So, what else? Oh, let's see here. Now, normally, I pumped 3 times a day. You know, it's up to you how you want to do that. But I will pump in the morning, first thing. I will pump at lunchtime, and then I will pump before going to bed. And I would take that milk and put it in a breast milk bag and put it in the freezer with a date. Because I only used the milk out the freezer when I had to be away from her. Most of the time, a good amount of the time, pretty much all the time, I was able to feed her directly from the breast. So all of that milk that I pumped, I was able to store. So I stored it in the freezer. Okay, we did dates. And now I will say in the morning, since I was so full, I would feed her throughout the night as well, from the breast. But when I would wake up in the morning, sometimes they would be so full and she wouldn't be up when I got up. And so I would go pump. And now that pump, I had the strap on, so they, both bottles are going at the same time. And I would probably do that for about 15-20 minutes. They say, from some things that I read, like if you're going to pump, give your breast time to refill itself before the baby eats. So in that case, I would make sure I had at least an hour in between her next feeding. But they would be so full that literally if, just going down the steps, they hurt, literally. So, let's see. We have the strap. Okay. So now, oh, how could I forget this last most important thing? I didn't find this anywhere. Like I said, I had a friend who breastfed, and she was telling me about her experiences and how she lost her edges right here in front of her head and lost a lot of hair. And it happens to some people. It doesn't happen to everybody. However, I did experience that. And I was like, oh my God, like my edges actually came out. Like I could not pull my hair back. That was out of the question. I was literally bald. I had like little strands, but bald. I was like, oh my God. But it comes back very quick. I will say that. But it was a shocker. So I'm going to go ahead, and that is all for tonight. So stay tuned. More Lonnie's Mom to come.